So, as far as house sitting, there are many ways that you can utilize house sits. You can luxury sit in beautiful houses while exploring new cities and traveling the world. But you have a really cool way of utilizing house sitting. So, tell me about your house sitting strategy and how that's been working out in the UK.
Well, so I think I told you on my last when we would last spoke that, for me, I didn't really want to be spending hundreds and thousands on rent every month, right? So what I did was I chose the house sitting, pet sitting route. So basically, I've been very strategic in applying for sits. And for the most part, I leave one sit and go to the next sit. This sit finishes tomorrow.
Right.
Um, and then I have Monday night and Tuesday night where I don't have a sit, and then I go to a sit on Wednesday, right? So what I'm gonna do is tomorrow I'll go over to my mom, spend a couple of nights with my mom, help her around the house. I have a few appointments that I need to take care of over on that side. I'll do that. And then I'm gonna go on to my next sit. Right now, I'm I have sits that are booked right up until I want to say the retreat in October, right? And then I'm kind of really booked up until November when I come back to the States because I plan
That's
to be back in the
amazing.
States in November. And so now what I'm working on is filling up my sits for December. I just apply for sits and very strategic. Like when I apply for a sit, like what kind of pet is it? If they don't have pet cat sits and I'm applying for a dog sit, then I want to think about, well, how big is the dog? It's better to get smaller dogs. You can research the breed and see, is it like a yappy dog? Is it a calm dog? Are they obedient dogs? Do you know what I mean? And then you look at the reviews. What do people say about the place where you're going to go sit? And the animals. So you take all of those things into consideration before you go ahead and you apply for the sit, right? And then, so on a daily basis, kind of going back to your question before, every day when I wake up, I spend like maybe 30 minutes or so looking through the sits. Trusted house sitters, they will let me know when new sits come in, and I'll go online and I'll check them out. And if they're ones that I want to apply for, then I'll apply for them. So I probably apply for like maybe 3 to 5 sits a week, right?
Mm, mhm.
With those dates. And then if I get a sit and the other sits that I've applied for with those dates, then I just withdraw my application for the
The
other
other
ones.
ones.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful strategy. And how much money do you think you've saved so far just not paying rent, not paying a mortgage, and just using house sitting as your room and board?
I've been here a month. So at the very least, if I only had a room, that's £800 that I would have spent. You know what I mean?
That is so great. And that's money you can be stacking for the
Hmm.
future. And it's just such an awesome strategy. I
Yeah.
think that more people should jump on this. This is such a great strategy, so clever.
Yeah.
What are the must do's, must not do's, and some of the mistakes along the way that you've made and you've learned from?
Ooh. First of all, you have to be very organized. What I use the packing cubes that you can get, and I have my clothes are kind of separated into hijabs, whatever, and then I put them in these cloth, those foldable boxes that have handles. So
Yes.
I'll put all my stuff in there. I have them like sat upwards, right? So I can just like they have handles. I can just take them in and out of the car. One of the boxes that I have is just full of crazy stuff that, most of the time you feel, why do I need this? Like I have a flashlight, I have a first aid kit, I've got like, pods for washing my clothes and, all kinds of crazy stuff. And you never know when you, like the other day, I had to pull out my flashlight because I had to go
Mm.
into the garden and it was dark. And I was like, so glad I got a little flashlight with me. You know what I mean? Right. So I just have like a box of household things that I might need: scissors, nail clips, all that kind of stuff. And so that is something also that just lives in and out of the car. Right. I have my own seasonings. I have a thing that I just sit on the countertop, which just, it has like 4 drawers, and I have like my seasonings, my vitamins, my grains,
Beautiful.
just
Yeah.
all the kind of things, that I think I will need. Right. I make sure that I have all of them. I make my own ghee. Right. So I'll make my ghee, and I have my little mason jar that sits in one of those drawers. Right. So, very organized. So getting in and out of houses is really easy. One of the things I did as well is I have a sleeping bag liner.
Mm.
Not because I feel like ooh at anybody's house, but for me it's about being able to have that comfortable sleep, right? And so when I get inside the sleeping liner and I have my little blankie, um, you know, um, I have a blanket, and so when I put those things on me, right, I feel like I'm in my bed. I don't
Absolutely.
feel like I'm
Yes.
in someone else's bed, and so I can have a good night's sleep, right? So those, I have like a little travel iron because not everybody has an iron, right? I ended up having to buy a travel iron because I had sat at somebody's house and they didn't have an iron, or maybe they did, but I couldn't find it, and I wasn't going to go searching all through people's houses. So
Before we were friends, you used to get on me about not ironing my clothes. Do you remember that? It was like 15 years ago. You'd be like, "Girl, you gotta iron your clothes." I was like, "I never iron in my life." You're like, "You got to."
the
So I
wasteful
know that
thing.
you're serious about being crispy. So I respect that.
Yeah. So those are some things that, definitely be organized. This
Mhm.
sit that I'm doing now, so this this dog Swanson, he is a Newfoundland. He is massive. Like when he stands up, he's at my waist,
He
right?
looks like those rescue dogs that you see in the Alps with the little thing around their neck saving people's
Yes.
lives. He's so
Oh
cute.
my God. But he dribbles, right? So then when he shakes his head, it just goes splashing everywhere. And I'm like, oh, note to self, no more Newfoundlands.
He's a gentle giant. He is so,
He's
so sweet.
lovely. He's so lovely, but he needs a jug underneath his
Ugh.
face, right? You know,
Uh,
uh, so that's something that, it's been an experience. I don't think I wouldn't pick a dog big again. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Even though
mhm.
he's old, so he's not too crazy. We have to walk him for 30 minutes. And he really is a gentle giant. He's such a lovely
Yeah.
soul,
But now you know your boundaries. I prefer not. As cute and as calm as he is, I want a dog next time that's more manageable.
Yeah,
So
and one that
absolutely.
doesn't drool so much. You know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, I need to make sure that when I make salat, right, I don't have all that drool on me. But that's something that I had to be very conscious of. You need to be very much, research the animal that you're going to sit for, you know.
Right. Well, as somebody who just kind of sticks to the luxury sits and just cats and birds and fish, it's really nice to know that, wow, if things get bad, I can switch to this different strategy and I'll be all right, inshallah. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.